This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you an interview with Dr. Gowher Rizvi, International Affairs Advisor to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Interviewer is Rajesh Kumar Jha, Prasar Bharati Special Correspondent, Dhaka.
Today, he will be talking about the various aspects of India-Bangladesh relations in the context of the forthcoming visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to take part in the birth centenary celebrations of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib, the Golden Jubilee celebration of the liberation of Bangladesh, and the 50 years of the establishment of diplomatic ties between India and Bangladesh. Let me begin by asking you about the current status of the India-Bangladesh relations and the challenges you see and the prospects of the relations in the near future.
This is an extraordinary happy occasion, not only for Bangladesh, because while we celebrate the centenary of Bangabandhu's birthday, we are also remind ourselves of the historic role that the people, government, and the armed forces of India played during our liberation war. So in all-round way, while we call it our centenary celebration, I want to emphasize that in many respects, it is our joint celebration. And when you ask me about the relationship between the two countries, in a way, Bangladesh and India relationship is the most natural relationship and necessary relationship that you can imagine. We have a shared history, shared culture, language, and with this shared experience, coupled with India's historic assistance to us in 1971, it's a sort of a bond that few countries can proclaim. So in that respect, our good relation is not a question to ponder.
It is indeed true, sir, that the relationship between India and Bangladesh is a story of a glorious relationship that is rooted in the 1971 joint sacrifice of both the countries. But any great relationship needs to be nurtured and energized as the realities of the world change. So in the last 50 years, much water has flown through the Ganges, through the rivers, and the relationship needs to be energized and given new impetus. What do you think are the areas in which the relationship needs to be energized and given strength?
Following the assassination of the father of the nation in 1975, it was followed by a period of more than 2 decades of either military or military-backed regime. During that period, it is true that Bangladesh-India relations had become frosty. But if you exclude that period, and of course, I must say, it is a long period and has still left some of its legacies there. The period 1972 to 1975 was the closest period during which India and Bangladesh worked together. And the confidence that we had in each other was demonstrated that the Indian army which came to help and liberate Bangladesh left within months at the request of Bangabandhu. Just shows how much confidence the two countries had. Bangabandhu started establishing relations with India all across the board, from trade to borders to investment, exchange of goods. And that very constructive period, which was very important for our formative phase, was disrupted, as I said, in 1975. However, our current Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, when she came to power for the second time in 2009, in the first government in 1996, she very amicably resolved the Ganges problem, which had been persisting between the two countries, not from 71, but right from 1947, from Pakistan era. And our Prime Minister, with the help with the Indian government, found a solution which is mutually beneficial. And that agreement is still working very effectively. With her return to power in 2009, she made India as her priority. And her instructions to us was, we want to resolve all issues across the board. And that's precisely what happened. We have resolved the problem of enclaves, exchange of enclaves, which was persisting since 1947. We now have a trading relationship with India where Bangladesh can export duty-free, quota-free, almost all goods except alcohol and arms to India. We have resolved all our lingering border area demarcation problems. We have solved adverse possession problem. The Teen Biga issue has now resolved forever. And we have then started building up relationship in a genuine interdependence sense. Because if you look at India and Bangladesh, our economy is shaped by our geography. We have a shared border of 2,400 kilometers. We depend on each other, we benefit from each other, and it is a mutually beneficial relationship. We are both looking to find our place with economic development, our place in the world. And to achieve that, we need to work together.
One of the recent studies by the World Bank, which says that despite the fact that India-Bangladesh trade has grown substantially and currently around $9 billion of trade between the two countries, yet there is an unrealized potential, according to the World Bank estimate, of $10 billion between the two countries. That there is a possibility that improved connectivity between the two countries, the trade could go up by $10 billion. What are the things that you think both countries should be doing?
Rajesh ji, not only I agree with the findings of the World Bank, I would like to say 10 billion trade is an underestimate. The potentials are huge. What has already happened, duty-free export to Bangladesh, our export to India is picking up. Although it is true that balance of trade is largely in favor of India. There we would argue that while it is one indicator we should be aware of, there are many ways in which we can overcome that. And one of the easiest ways that we are doing is encouraging Indians to invest in Bangladesh using our large labor pool, skilled, semi-skilled labor force, extremely disciplined workforce, to use Bangladesh as a manufacturing base and then importing it duty-free into India for the Indian market. It benefits both sides and further enhance cooperation. And you are absolutely right about connectivity. If I were to say, what is the flagship policy of our Prime Minister? From day one, she made regional, sub-regional connectivity as her priority. We have opened up our frontiers. We have allowed India to link with Northeast through our territory. We are opening up all those linkages, railway, road, that has been disrupted during the Indo-Pakistan War of 1965. Those are being restored. We are trading in power. We are buying electricity from India. We have developed coastal shipping between the two countries. We have opened up our inland rivers so that ships can go to the different parts of Bangladesh. So all these things added together, coupled with expansion of Bangladesh's own industrial base, we should be able to take advantage of the huge Indian market of nearly 1.4 billion people.
Indeed, the possibilities of trade between India and Bangladesh are huge, and being so closely placed and geographically, I think, linked together, the possibilities are huge, and we are only realizing those potentials just now, and I can see that in the near future things would go up. I would like to ask you one related question, sir. Recently, Bangladesh has graduated from the LDC status, and in the coming 5 years or so, it would be coming out of the LDC status. How do you think it is going to affect the trade relations between India and Bangladesh, in the sense that certain concessions, etc., that are available now between countries and certain agreements that may be in place between the two countries? What do you think is going to be the impact of this?
We are celebrating double graduation, LDC to developing, and also from lower income to middle income. This is a huge achievement. Huge achievement not only economically, but it is also in terms of dignity. We feel very proud to tell the world that many countries, many leaders of the world had written off Bangladesh from the possibility of economically surviving. It was a question of eternal dependence. Let me just tell you, in 1972, we needed almost 100% of our development budget was either development assistance or loans. Today, 95% of our development budget comes from our own resources. We have still about 5% of development assistance, but given our economic vibrancy, we can now access loans from multilateral lending bodies. We can borrow money from international capital market. So in many senses, we are no longer dependent as we were on special or privileged access to market. Our economies, our industries, our exports have become competitive. And in a way, all this is going to do for us is to make us try to be more competitive. And with competition, our quality, our product, our own ability to supply will also improve. I also should say this does not in any way impact Bangladesh-India relations. Change of status is more to do with EU, with North America and other countries of the world. As far as India is concerned, we have this very special relationship of duty-free access to the Indian territory, and at the same time, as our capacity develops, as our own industrial expansion takes place, from being a predominantly agricultural society in 1971-72, today we are largely a trading country, and that's where we will be heading in the years to come.
That is something very important that you're talking about. Going back to the earlier thing that you suggested, sir, about the need for Indian investment coming to Bangladesh. I know that recently an Indian company has announced that it will be investing in the making of electric vehicles in Bangladesh. There are a couple of big power projects running in Bangladesh and a few other things. What are the areas where you think Indian investment can come profitably for both the countries and invest?
I would like to talk about both Indian investment in Bangladesh and also joint Indo-Bangladesh ventures. As I said, Bangladesh offers an ideal opportunity for Indian investors to manufacture goods for domestic consumption in India. Indian investment will come. And as you said, we have powered some of your top industries have invested in the field of power, textile, garments, as you said, electric car manufacturing, batteries, in any number of things where India has advantage. What is also very interesting is, while a lot of Indian managers are helping us in our management of our factories, etc. Likewise, not well known that Bangladeshi companies are helping manage in some of the Indian ports. Because we have a lot of experience in that area. We have always been a riverine society. Much of the ships that ply between India and Bangladesh are Bangladeshi ships. So we also have a way in which we can contribute to enhancing trade. The transshipment from Akhauda to Agartala is enormously opening up for Indian market. At the same time, it is opening up Bangladeshi market. But going forward are the real opportunities. Those have to be created. They don't exist immediately. We need to create those opportunities through strategic planning and strategic investment. We need to look at the comparative advantage of each country, each society, and then decide where to invest. I have already talked about the labor comparative advantage of Bangladesh. Today, none of our factories can complain about want of regular power supply. Our roads, ports, and rails are improving. And India is playing a magnificent role through its line of credit in helping us to build some of these infrastructure. Most recently, we had the bridge, Moitri Setu. That shows you how we are opening up. We have allowed free transit in every direction. India has also come forward. It has agreed that power trade can take place and power can come from Bhutan to Bangladesh through India without interruption. There are huge possibilities of developing hydroelectricity power in Northeast India. But if you produce electricity in Northeast India, there is no demand for it. The demand is elsewhere in India. And the only way that India can evacuate the power that it generates in Northeast India is through Bangladesh. That is where we talk about joint venture opportunities. We would also like to invest in those joint ventures so that we are also assured. We are already working very well advanced in a tripartite power project between India, Bangladesh and Bhutan. We will jointly develop it and then we will buy back according to our needs. We need to develop an integrated communication system. We need to make all our rivers navigable so ships can ply without any problem. So by developing this infrastructure, we will fully benefit from our proximity.
Thank you, Dr. Gowher Rizvi, for talking extensively about so many issues of the relationship between India and Bangladesh. Thank you, sir.
You were listening to an interview with Dr. Gowher Rizvi, International Affairs Advisor to the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. The interviewer was Rajesh Kumar Jha, Prasar Bharati Special Correspondent, Dhaka. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app News on AIR. This program is also available on our website newsonair.com.